Order filled. Order filled.
Things like that. We never sat around and listened to the Fed speak.
No.
It was more or less like we would watch the clock tick to 1 o'clock, and then all hell would break loose. It would be like you wouldn't. I mean, it was the busiest time, just about any time when the Fed would speak.
Isn't that one of the greatest things in trading places when like a crop report comes out in the middle? Everyone stops, watch the
Yeah.
report. I go, that never happened on the floor.
No.
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 Yeah.
Well, the thing about the fast market was if the market was like swinging, really fast, a lot of volatility. So as a broker, let's say you had an offer to sell a one lot at 70 and it traded up to 80 and you didn't get that order filled and now it's trading 50, you would have to buy it at 70 from the customer basically and then take the loss on it. The fast market alleviated a lot of that responsibility for the brokers because in a fast market, they're basically saying the broker's not held. If you get
Right.
if your offer or your bid gets penetrated, you're not guaranteed to fill. That's what that whole fast market thing was. So they were very stingy about putting it up because they really didn't want to kind of present that to the public and the other traders that the brokers were not going to be responsible for the fills. But at certain times, I mean, it was really necessary, particularly
But
like 1987. The breakdowns in 2008, 2009, 2020, 2002. I don't know, whenever those periods of volatility were, there you saw a lot of fast markets. But again, it wasn't just somebody called and said, "Hey, put up a fast market." They had to think about it. They had to.
Oh yeah,
they had to
yeah,
get,
yeah.
They had to get
Prices
Well, the
permission.
had
pit
to move.
recorders. Well, the pit recorders. I mean, they couldn't get. I remember them punching. Because remember, I've always shared. In Discord, like the trading board. Like everybody wonders when they've seen my screen why I have like all these quote boards. I go, that's how I looked at the market for majority of my life. So I like
Sure.
having like big things that I can see price. But remember the pit recorders, I mean, when the market was moving so fast, they couldn't get the prices up to the damn because I used to watch order fillers yell, "Hey, my trade's not, my price isn't up there," and
Right.
On the
all those
board.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, hey, real quick here, let's take a look at the markets.
yeah.
Looking at the Nasdaq 19,917 quarter. Looks like I put the brakes on slightly here. Also with the ES 5653.50. We got gold 3393.30. We got the Russell 2005.90, bringing it down a little bit here. Crude hanging around the bottom again, 58.43, and our Dow goes to the top here, 41,306. And back to the fast markets. My goodness, time and sales. That's exactly if the customer didn't like the price he got, he would demand you to go time and sales, and the line would be like out the door. Time and sales. They had computers on the floor, but there's only a few time and sales machines that you can print stuff up, and you get the price. There you go. I got the order at this time. Timestamp. That's another thing. Time stamping was very important because that's how you would
Those
sort of.
computers were like Flintstone computers too. It was like, a bird in there pecking at
You had to
the printer.
There was some squirrel inside
had to
there
get on
running
that
around in a treadmill.
coconut
Get
bike,
it to move.
bamboo bike.
I
To get
shared
on
in Discord. There's a clip, and I'll send you a couple of these folks. And it's scanning the floor at the Chicago Board of Trade, and it shows a computer. And I said, "Stop! Look at that!" And it was a CQG machine. And I said, "That's what we use, and that's the only thing that thing did is show, chart." And I said there were 3 of them on the floor on one side, so there were like 6 guys lined up to look at charts on the floor. I mean, it was just the automation part of our business.
well, it was in the infant
was.
phase.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like, wow, computers, cool,
Computers.
that's nice. Computers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good.
Anyway.
And they were member priority too. Like if you send a clerk to go get a new profile or a new chart, they had to wait.
Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was I mean, you were told that if you were a yellow coat on the CME, by all means, you need to do that. But anyway, how many people are up on the day? How many people are down on the day? Mr. Hoop, Coach Hoop, you were looking at the moo cows today. Now, why was that?
Yeah, they were looking a little heavy coming into today. We took out right around yesterday's high, and then we just kind of flattened out. We kind of had some. The cash news got a little bit. Looks like it might be topping out. So, took I mean, once again, I was just kind of, Eddie, you do it a lot, and I look at it a lot, and that little ladder that sits to the right. When I'm trading cattle, sometimes I look at it as
order filled,
listening to the bid and offer in a pit. And I just kind of watch that ladder to see, once again, and I think in slower moving markets like this and stuff like this, I kind of have my levels, but then I just kind of see how the market acts around it. And then, like I said, I take, I think all of us have a little bit of that singles, doubles mentality. I'll just kind of back away, take $100 here, $120 here, and then just kind of
for sure
speckling away. And, that's how I used to do a trading day when I was in the pit, So, and just like a day like today, normally I'd be focused more on the equities and stuff, but man, on these, just not. And days like non-farming here, it's not worth it to get caught in the chop.
Do you remember on the trading floor they had those like wire machines with the big scrolls on them where you could go and look and see how many slaughters and how many were on feed and all of that stuff. Like all day long, people were just kind of strolling through those things. Did you look at those? Did you use that information when you were trading?
And I think him, and we talked about him the other day, Wally. He was kind of my ticker tape guy. Let's just say that. Yeah, exactly. And like I talk to him or he texts me every morning, like what's going on with the cash, where the
still.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
He still calls you?
Kind of. He just more often than not he'll text me.
Recently.
So we said this. Remember, there used to be a guy who used to fill the inner market spread. So there used to be a true spread market for cattle and hogs.
Yeah.
Like on the floor, there was a guy who held paper that you could trade him. And he was trying to think of his name, and he said Jeff Silverman. And I said, I don't remember Jeff Silverman, but he sent that. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Like here, cash hog index is trading at 90.75. Product is firm.
Order filled.
Cash cattle average near 221 last week. Jerry thinks that it's higher in the south. So that's my little fundamental nugget. I get
how connected you are. You are connected.
Yeah.
If you talk to Wally, tell him we all said hello.
I will. I'll have to get him on. I'll try and get him on one day.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. Hey, real quick here, folks. If you're just logging in here, right, get yourself ready for the party of parties. FOMC watch party coming up here. A little bit more than 30 minutes here. I'm going to say 27 if my sundial is correct. We're going to be streaming Powell's remarks and the Q&A live. We're going to be doing this live, and we're bringing you Coach Dakota. David Green and Coach Jay will be here to break it all down for you. And I'll be watching the wire here, and I'll be posting in the chat whatever I can, as quick as I can. So I'll do that. But tell your friends, tell your fellow traders, tell your enemies friends. And yes, pets are allowed. So see you at 1 o'clock. All right.
You know, that video that we were talking about in the green room before, and I shared it on Discord yesterday. It was like 15 minutes before the bell rang on the floor. And this is one thing that Dalton said, you know, years ago, where you could start to hear the volume. Like when I just caught a piece of whatever the background noise that, you know, I hear now, you just used to hear that just as the opening bell would come, you just hear the volume on the floor, especially when we were one floor and not two.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd bring people on the floor and they'd literally crap their pants as a visitor when we were on one floor. That's how loud.
Be like, don't move. I mean, don't put your hands up. Don't do nothing.
Yeah.
They'd be like, why can't I put my hands up? You might put an order in the pit. Just don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw the open on the grain floor, I was probably about 5 or 6, like down there visiting Dad on the trading floor. And he, you know, set me up on a desk and said, watch this. And the bell rang and everybody started screaming and hollering. I'm like, why are they yelling? Why are they yelling? It's too loud.
Yeah.
Little did I know I would be in there.
You know what they used to have for kids? They would have, when you'd bring your son or daughter to work, they would make a little pit, and they had little trading coats, and the kids would be trading for pizza.
Oh, that's great.
And then
I remember that
pizza party. Yeah, a little pizza party for the kids. I thought that was really cool. You know, they put them in a little pit, and I mean, obviously they didn't know what they were doing, but they had fun.
They taught them a little bit of supply and demand. Like, you know, they would say, okay,
I need a little mozzarella.
What if there was a cheese shortage? What would that do to the price of pizza? And they'd all bid it up.
Yeah.
A couple of fights broke out. Yeah, we had to break them up. It's fine. And then they learned how to cuss and swear in there also. They taught them dirty language. You gotta say this.
It was fun to watch until you saw the kids in the bar drinking afterwards.
That was crazy.
They're doing.
I don't know how they got in there, but
shooters.
They let them,
yeah,
they were after the pizza. They were in there drinking. I couldn't even get a spot at the bar.
Hope, did you guys have pencils? Did you use pencils ever on the floor when you first started? Like write with pencils?
Yes. Everybody did until after 1987.
Okay.
They said, all right, everybody's got to trade with ink now. And don't obliterate anything. And then they put the buys and sells on the same side to help with
You're talking about the trading card.
paper trail.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So they knew what you did first. But before that, I mean, you know, guys in the lumber pit, if they'd be in there trading all day, they'd hand in a stack of cards this thick right at the end of the day. After 1987, you had to have them picked up every 15 minutes. They had to be key punched throughout the day. I think 87 changed a lot of things. I think a lot of clearing firms realized how much risk they were under because nobody turned in their cards until the end of the day. And some of these guys could have been down millions and actually made it back that day. So they wanted everything key punched. Every 15 minutes, they would send somebody around to pick up your cards. Had to be in ink. Don't obliterate anything. And then that's when they put all the buys and sells on the same side of the card. Before then, it was one side was buys and one side was sells. Now they're all buys and sells, two different columns on the same side of the card, so you get a little better paper trail as to the being able to put together how things happen in the pit.
Well,
You
the
know,
Borsellino story is why I ask. His brother.
yeah,
So if you've ever, if I mean, oh, I never knew that till he shared that on a clip when he was working for his brother as a clerk. He's like, "Hey, man," and I'm like, once again, I don't remember in '90 them using pencils, but he said, "Hey," he gave him a stack of pencils, and he said, "Go over and sharpen these."
yeah,
And there was a guy in front of the machine that was talking on the phone, and I'm guessing it was a
Okay.
local or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, I want to sharpen the pencils," and he's like, "Nah, get away, man." So he went back to
It was like that sometimes.
Borsellino and said, "Hey, man, I can't get these sharp." And he goes, "Well, go over there and take care of it." So he said the next thing you know, they're rolling around on the floor and he's beating the crap out of the guy because he couldn't sharpen his pencils. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, but that's
Yes.
the stories that came off the floor, man. It was just, I just
Sure.
never realized that there was only pencils.
yeah.
Right.
Everybody used pencils till after 1986. Order filled.
He said ink, baby, ink. In chat here, old school 61. Hello, old school. Welcome to the OGs, Triple H Club. He said, so much yelling. How did anybody hear the guys on the floor about orders? Well, that's arbitrage. I mean, you can have a Lear jet and Metallica on the same floor, volume 11, and you can still get stuff done. It was all with hand signs, buy, sells.
Yeah.
You're filled. I'm working. You're out.
Order filled.
Even the
Working
companies
out.
working. You know, we'd have hand signs for who's buying, who's selling. All of a sudden, a big order come in. Who is it? You know, it's Morgan, it's Goldman, it's Bear Stearns, it's you know, how many they're looking to buy. Give me an offer, give me an offer, give me a bid, give me a bid. I mean, so there was, I mean, like I said, Jet and Metallica on volume 11, and you'd still be able to get business done.
Yeah.
It was loud there.
And
You know, it was
bids
loud.
and offers were used hand signals as well. Like, you know, if I was working 10 and a half, I'd say sell 10 and a half, sell 10 and a half, sell 10 and a half. So maybe somebody bids, you know, 40 on 10, 40 on 10. And I'll say, okay, I'll sell you 10 at 40. And you'd say, okay, checking. Bought 10, paid 40, done. You didn't even have to
Yeah.
speak. Yes,
Right.
everybody was yelling, everybody was screaming. It helped. It helped to be loud. I was pretty loud.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
Huh.
But
Your
Well, the
yeah,
voice
thing
that's
has
how
is,
it
been
too,
happened.
a lot of years on the
ver-
floor is taking a beating for that, Hogue, right? I mean, come on. Right?
Order
I mean,
filled.
yelling,
Yep.
screaming. I mean, you know, there's some guys that,
Order
I mean,
filled.
it was an art form to yell too, right? I mean, that was one thing they
you had to
taught you in the
carry.
trading class. Don't yell from your
Yeah.
throat, yell from your stomach. And I'm like, really? I
From the
need to learn
Levant.
how to yell? Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to learn how to yell. I'm like,
Order filled.
so,
You know, and that would be like when you were buying or selling, you need something across the pit, or if you got
Right.
a fill and the phone clerk has got his head on the desk, you know, you got to get their attention.
yeah. And it wasn't pretty, right, Eddie?
No,
No.
but
No.
the thing was, it's John was doing a buy and sell. Buys would start out here. You would have your prices out here, and then your quantity on your face. So when a buy, it was easy to remember because it was like you're pulling in. You want to buy. I want it. And selling
Yeah.
was this way. Get it away from me. I don't want it anymore. I'm selling it. And that was one of the things to remember when you did arbitrage. But they had classes. I mean, I remember my sister who worked in the S&P pit. She filled in the S&P pit and worked for Marty Schwartz. And her and her boyfriend sat me down one day, and they had a bunch of old orders, desk orders, written orders. When you'd write up a paper order, you do, you know, buy 20 at 57.62, stop,
Mhm.
you know, and they would flash them to me, flash, and that's how I learned. But they had classes and stuff, and it did take some time. I mean, you needed to be quick, you needed to know what you were doing. But it's like riding a bike, you know, Johnny. We haven't did that in years, but you know, we'd still
Order
be able to
filled.
communicate 300 yards away if we could see each other. You know, as
Sure.
long as you can see the person that you're doing business with, even though they were in that pit and there were hundreds of people screaming, yelling, kicking, pushing, spitting, whatever, punching, you'd still be able to get that
Stabbing.
done. Stabbing.
Um,
Speaking of
There were a
stabbing,
lot of there were
oh,
people
goodness.
that actually took voice lessons to learn how to
Really?
use their voices the most.
I
There
have
were a lot of
friends.
people that didn't do that that ended up getting like polyps on their vocal cords. Like,
I
remember
bet.
Maury Kravitz? As he was getting older,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he sounded
Maury.
like this. Hey,
Oh,
Maury.
God.
Yeah.
He
He
was
blew his
gargling
voice
with
out.
razor blades. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Maury Kravitz. MMM wants to say, how do you say I want to buy 69? Right, at the market, it's an exotic number that you're picking, but it would be 69
Yeah, exactly.
market
60?
by 69, but by 69
69.
market by 69 market. Yeah.
So this was
You
10,
didn't
20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100.
100.
So if you had 69 and you want to buy 69, you'd say, hey, I'll buy 69.
Yep.
Market. Yeah, this was the that was market. Just like lobster. I used to get a you go to a lobster.
Order filled.
Lobster market price.
Oh,
Get the waiter. Hey, what's there? Give me the lobster. What's the... We used to send kids to the
What's the
lobster
offer?
pit. Yeah. New kids. We were bad. That's
Hey,
a whole
Hogue, I
other
sent
level of stories.
that picture you gave me. Like I said, where were you? Remember that famous, iconic picture from the S&P pit from
Yes,
above?
pin. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, Hogue, where are you standing? I sent that picture to Gabe. I don't know if you could share it. It's the last one I sent. You sent me that little red circle where you're standing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Order
That
filled.
was your spot.
Yep, there's a cattle.
People would fight over that, which was crazy.
Yeah, that's the S&Ps on the old floor, and not all that full. It's probably lunchtime there.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. Say, Johnny, by the way, what are you bringing to the watch party? I've got like a 3-bean salad I made. What are you bringing?
I'm bringing the beef sandwiches.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, and I think
Tray of lasagna. I'm bringing a tray of lasagna.
You got lasagna you're bringing to the
Boomer.
FOMC watch
Whiskey.
party?
Of course.
Today at 1 p.m. I think Gabe went for beer, so we should have a couple pony kegs. I think it should be all right. That's how you got to do it, folks. Sit back. I wish it was that fun back on the trading floor. But it was the most stressful time during FOMC when that number hit the wire. I think I mentioned this last time. Being that when I was a clerk in the pit, you're getting, let's just say that you work 7 different houses, all right? You've made an agreement that they'll do business with you. You got 7 different people, one guy up there, another girl over here, a couple people over here, one over here. And when that number would hit, they would be on the phones with their trade desks, okay? And these guys on the trade desks, I don't know if any of you are listening, but you guys are assholes, complete assholes. They were.
Get it out. Get that old stuff out, Eddie.
Yeah, I'm going to vent like an MNFer. No. They were, the thing is, they were on the other end of the phone. And, sometimes the clerk would be like, Eddie, you got to come up here and tell him what happened. He doesn't like the price, and then you'd be like, shit, okay. And I get on the phone and the guy would just read me a new one. But I mean, the thing was, when that number hit, boom, you'd have 7 people screaming your name, trying to put orders in. You get it done. You
Order
usually
filled.
try to watch the biggest house that you filled for, because they would come in with 100, 200, 300 lots, instead of the guys doing 15 lots over here, another guy doing 20 lots over here. You get them done, you put that in, and then you sort of do it, but very stressful. I think nowadays, since we've got what we've got in front of us, this is a godsend for trading. I mean, you got.
I used to do out trades.
Oh, goodness gracious! I never did that.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
explain
that,
out trades to hoops. People don't know what out trades are. They don't have that now.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, Hogue. When I send you that clip, is the guy talks about out trades. So like the guys with like the lime green coats were the guys who did out trades for the specific firms. So let's say Hogue and I and Eddie were trading, and I said, Hogue, I sold you 2. And Hogue writes down 1 on his card. So the next day, there's a quantity out, which means I'm showing that I did 2, but I only see 1 coming back at me. So you just think about it, with all the amount of trades that happen, like in the S&P pit in a day.
Order filled. Order filled.
Just
Order
like,
filled.
hey, I sold you 2 at 30, and let's say Hogue wrote down 10. So we'd have price differences. We'd have quantity outs. So all matching trades up, and I used to do them in the morning, and then I used to go work for a firm and do them at night. So on like a non-farm night, I'd be there till 9, 10 o'clock at night, because there'd just be a pile of orders because of so many trades, and then there'd be early out trade calls in the morning.
Oh my goodness,
because
early. Yeah,
I mean, like 4 o'clock, but like a guy like Hogue, where as much paper as you filled, I mean, your clerk and your out trade clerk were probably your 2 most important people that you dealt with, right? I mean, there were out trade clerks that, made thousands of dollars a week, because my brother, who was an absolute, nut trading, and he would be horrible at writing down the right quantity, the right price. And, the guy came down one day and said, man, $500 a week to do your out trades isn't worth it, because it's like reading hieroglyphics, man, but those were big deals to the trader. Out trades would kill you, because there was no Globex to get out when we first started trading. In other words, if I came out in the morning and knew we had a quantity out, I mean, Hogue, you had to, hey, your trade checker says, hey, you're short 5 and you're called 100 higher. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Yep.
not good.
you'd have to cover that. Sure.
Yeah.
The thing was, no, the thing was too, if there was a discrepancy, no, I sold you 5. No, you said 10. No, you said 5.
Right.
They had a room where you would go in, and it was professional NFL, NBA type camera work, where they would be able to scroll and zoom in on the trading pit. Mostly it was the S&P pit. That was a rowdy pit on the floor there, but you were able, they had cameras everywhere, and you were able to zoom in and actually see the trade, because remember, we got the time cards. We're time stamping everything. Time. This is
order rejected.
So they had an idea between this time and this time that trade happened, and they would look at the people. I mean, I used to go there a lot of times, and and see, no, you said 5, and then they showed it. No, he did say 5. He's going 5 right there. His hands up, saying 5, and that's how they would discrepancies. That's how they would correct discrepancies amongst traders. Wow.
Eddie,
couldn't throw the challenge flag.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Those cameras were there long before they let us use them for that, and we didn't know they were there.
We didn't know
they were used. They were used for regulation.
Right.
So we didn't even know they were there. Yeah. Like, wait, they have cameras on us?
Yeah. That came out later,
we're
right?
Here, real quick here in the markets. Market's taking a little turn here south on us right now. 19,865.50 here in the Nasdaq. S&P's trading the 5640s. We also got the Dow taking a dip off a nice run high, coming 41,218 is the last here in our Dow.
What about gold, Hope? What's your 2 cents there, man? Curiosity.
It's been a roller coaster rodeo.
What do you think now? See that big move we had post, like we rallied like $40 after the New York closed. It just went straight vertical again.
Yeah.
And then when Asia opened, it tanked out again. So, I mean, Anne-Marie and I are talking about it. It says could be a blow off top. I don't know. But what's your feeling there? You think we go test those highs again?
Well, you know what? We had a poll.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We had a poll: would the FOMC announcement drive the market up or down? 437 votes, and it's 50-50. I don't think I've
Of
ever seen a
course.
poll here
That's
saying
so
it's
right.
exactly
Yep.
50-50.
50-50.
So
Yep.
there's a good reason why I
Hmm.
think we need to sit on our hands. Because if you think you're going to snipe, which you might be able to,
Mhm.
a quick win, a quick winner, you might be able to. But I tell you, there's so many head fakes nowadays, and a head fake I'm talking about
Mhm.
where the market rallies up and you think, oh, we're going up. And before you know
Yeah.
it, it's trading below the level it started at. So be very careful here, folks. This is
Yeah.
just from experience. And somebody was asking, how old are you guys? We got, I think, about 120 years between us on the trading floor.
Yeah.
Am I about right? I know me and Hogue, I think you got a
Yeah.
year more than me at like 40 each here. And then
Mhm.
you're what? Hoop, you got
I
about 30?
started in 90. I started in 90.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
All right. So more than 120 years, Oh,
Yeah.
geez. And the thing
Yikes.
is, we've experienced all this
Yikes is right, Hogue.
numerous times.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you learn, if you haven't learned by now, better safe than sorry. That's why I really love this lockout button. And then people are like,
Yeah.
oh man, I locked myself out and the market's moving. Don't worry about it, man. Winning day? All right, cool. You know what? Stick with it. You got a victory. It's like going 12 rounds, winning the decision and saying, wait a minute. Let's go 14 rounds just for the hell of it. I feel lucky. Take the victory. All right. That's why we got it. So, experience. We're not gonna tell you wrong. We're not gonna show you the wrong path here. But I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you guys. Up
Just
to
know
you
if you
guys,
play with
huh?
fire, you'll get burnt. So just
Yeah.
that's all I say is that, we all joke around about touching the stove when it gets too hot. You'll find out. We just
Yeah.
once again, we don't claim to, like I said, I never claim to have the holy grail, but I know I try and at least pass on, hey, stuff that I did or mistakes that I've learned, all I'm doing is trying to speed up someone else's learning curve. But if you, once again, you're the one clicking the mouse,
Yep.
Yeah.
you'll find out.
Huh. Billy says, "Did you guys all know each other back then?" Well, Hoop's
Mhm.
mom and Hoog's mom and my mom, we're all moms.
We're all moms.
So that sort of puts us in the same boat. No,
Yeah.
I think I met Johnny maybe half my career on the trading floor. Hoop was like in every pit, so really didn't.
Right.
I caught him once in a while zipping by, but that was
Mhm.
about it. How about you, Johnny? Did you know Hoop?
I knew
Josh.
of Hoop.
Josh.
You look at that
John
jacket.
Fisher.
Of course, everybody knew him.
Yeah.
There's that
Mhm.
guy. What guy? That guy.
There's that guy.
But I don't think
He's
we
not
knew
even
each other
tall.
personally.
No, I think we
Yeah.
might have met through John Fisher.
John
So,
Fisher, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John Fisher was he was in the pork belly. So,
Yep.
but there's a couple guys I used to know go trade lumber, and that once again that lumber market was, I don't. Coach Jack
I'd like
starts
to.
talking about it, and I'm like, holy cow,
Yeah.
that
It was
market was
wild.
Yeah,
nuts. Yeah.
I'd like to know if anybody here in the chat did business with me on the trading floor, or knows me from the Deutschmark pit, from the yen pit, from the S&P pit, from the Dow pit. I mean, yeah, I see names. These are sort of acronym names. These are like your badges, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we know
Mhm.
you by your nickname or your acronym better than your real name. Obviously, some people got their
Yeah.
real names up there, but
That's
cool,
all
like
you knew.
Robert
Some
Cody.
guys.
Exactly. You'd be
I
like
mean, you
that.
knew
Yeah,
their
you'd be out at the mall.
acronym. You didn't know their real name.
Yo, Hoop, what's up? Hey, Hoop,
Yeah.
what's up? Honey, why'd you call him Hoop? I don't know his name.
There were some good ones too. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Was
he used to
one
fill for me.
that-
He
yeah.
filled for
Mhm.
us. He was.
He was
Saw
my
him in
partner.
Yeah,
there.
there was.
Right. That's
Well,
what I thought of.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Who else? Who else worked in that area? Remember Ian Zubkov? Remember Zub? He's the one that sort of promoted our band.
T-Bun. There's a
T-Bun.
Cicero Italian
Crawl.
guy.
How about what was Crawl's first name? Kevin? No.
Kroll?
Kroll? Yeah.
Roll. Yeah.
Jan.
He was a, what was it?
Jan Kroll?
Jan,
Yeah.
that's right. Now, he was like the coolest dude on the floor. He was
Yeah.
like just,
I think that
he to a party. This party's going to be badass. It's going to be one of the best
Yeah.
parties, you know. Jan Kroll.
that's the thing
Good
that I
stuff,
would think would be so cool in Top Step if we all eventually had like our own, you know, and that's the thing, had our own acronyms, but there was a rule to it though, right? It can only be so many letters. Nobody else could have it. I remember because it wasn't easy. You know, I was a little bit, I was 90, but I remember trying to find a name at first. Like my brother's badge was ZA, Z-A.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and he wanted me, oh, you need to be LZA, little za. I go, no, I don't. You're my older brother. I don't not need to be LZA. So I just started thinking about, easy to write. I mean, that's how you thought about the name, right? Easy to write down, easy to remember. That's how I thought about it, right? And that's how I came up with once again, I played college basketball. So, I mean, that kind of went with it. And, Michael Jordan. And,
Well, there was only one acronym for me. OG.
that's
Ugh.
right. Ogue.
Oogie.
Ogue.
Ugh. All right. Well, hey, we're coming about top of the hour when we're going to have some fun here. So I think maybe we we get ready here in about 5 minutes. Call it so we got some time to take a little break. I got to get my 3-bean salad out of the fridge.
Set up the buffet table.
I think they already got that set up for everybody. But you don't have to bring a dish by all means. But let's pack the house here.
Going right now.
They got the smart. Get those sternos going. FOMC watch party coming up here in about 10 minutes. Doors are open. Yes, they are open. So grab a seat and remember here at Top Step TV, every seat is a front row seat. No shit. So, all right. But I don't know. Any closing comments here? Captain Hoop? Mr. Hoop?
No, just remember these days from the floor. Kind of, once again, it just reflect back on it now, and you just realize. I think Eddie, you said it. I just seeing how efficient markets are now is amazing to me. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same game, but different rules.
Oh,
Same game.
completely.
Buy low, sell
Completely.
high. But wait a minute. We changed the rules here. So there you go. Johnny Hoags, any last words here?
Yeah, I mean, barrier to entry is way low now. No out trades. You don't have to worry about those. But, just watch yourself. Manage your expectations. Manage your risk. Order filled.
Very true.
And well, I hope everybody sort of learned something. And the experience that we bring from the trading floor, obviously,
Order filled.
Change for electronic trading, but
Order
some of the
filled.
bigger rules and
Order filled.
You have to move forward.
Order filled. Order filled.
Still apply.
Order filled.
It's always fun.
Order filled.
But you guys talking old school. I like this segment, Lunchbox Trading.
Me too.
And hope we can do this again. The Triple H Club here. If you want to, we're going to be selling T-shirts and hats, and Hoop is going to be autographing 8x10s and kissing babies
Love it.
after FOMC. So bring your baby; he'll autograph it. There you go. All right,
Bones are getting thin already.
Yep, I
all
see
right,
it.
Phil.
Order filled.
We're gonna leave here a little earlier. Let's get ready for it. All right, if you need to get yourself a drink, refresh your drink, make a sandwich, you got a little time, and then we're going to sit.
Order
back.
rejected.
We're going to have our watch party. So, until then, keep your eyes on the road. What's the Beretta song? Keep your eyes on the sparrow. I don't know, but anyway, let's stay tuned here. We'll be right back. We're going to be back here, and we got David Green, Coach Jay, Coach Dakota. Oh my goodness, this 3-bean salad's going to be great.
Stay tuned.
There he is.
We'll be right back.
Order filled. Order filled. Order rejected. Order rejected.
I'm gonna be playing.
Order filled. Order rejected.
We got your FOMC panel right here. We got David Green, Coach Dakota, Coach Jay, and we have the Fed announcement imminent. What's happening